My dad's always told me, you never feel like you work a day in your life when you love what you do, and I love to farm.
When I got out of high school, Dad had about 1,100 acres at the time, and I just kept adding to it and working at it, and been fortunate enough to keep growing from then.
I've worked with the Blount family now for about 10 years. It's been wonderful. The Blounts, they're excellent farmers. They're a great resource in the area for not only investment opportunities, but just knowledge of what's going on. And every farm they operate for us, they make better through their farming practices, through technology, through advice on where we should do capital improvements, to just hard work.
I've always heard my parents talk about, like, it's so nice to be your own boss, and I kept thinking to myself, how awesome would that be to go home and continue a tradition of the family farm that my grandparents and my parents have both been able to do.
We're all in it together, and that's nice from our point of view, because we can have landlords down then that all they're interested in is getting a cash rent check.
Especially during harvest, one of you usually show up and you ride around with us and you see what we're doing, and you realize that we love your farm just as much as we'd love any one of our own farms.
There's some families that don't get along, but yet, like, I look at my parents as two of my best friends. To be able to come out here and, like, work side by side, like, I mean, my grandpa's still 82, and I can't tell you how many, like, crazy cool little things I've learned from working with my grandpa.
Having a close relationship with the Blounts helped several ways. They help us find opportunities to invest in. If I trust their knowledge, then I'm going to look at different ideas that they might have about the property. I trust that they're going to take care of the property the way that they would if it was their own farm.
With your landlords, I think you've got to be really open with all your practices on what you're doing, and being able to talk to them and have a good relationship with them is the biggest benefit. I know my dad says, you've got to treat your landlord as your friend, and I 100% agree with that.
I try to take care of the technology on the farm. It helps me provide the information for your crop input plans and your harvest data. I take all the seed and look at the different yields from one year to the next to decide whether we want to discontinue using one or maybe using another.
Whether it's a different farming practice, a different seed variety, whether it's something about one of our properties in general, every time I meet with them, I seem to learn something.
We treat every acre like we own it. We've got to do the most we can to get the most out of it.
Working with sustainability, not only with the Blounts, but with all of our tenants, is going to rely on communication, making sure that we all have the same goals in mind. Because if we work together, then that's when real change will actually happen. We need to work with farm families like the Blounts, and Nuveen has developed a strong relationship with them that I think will continue to grow over the next 5-10 years.
The more that we all add, the easier it'll get for the next generation. And I'm sure our daughter, she's gonna keep the farm and keep adding to it because she loves it just as much as we do.
To think that my parents believe and trust in me, that I can, like, do as good a job as they do at everything they do, to think that I have the opportunity to take on all this someday seems pretty awesome, I think.